Hey guys, do you need welding gas? Go see the boys at C.A.R Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. C.A.R Gas, New Zealand. Right, morning guys. So, I'm not quite sure where I finished off yesterday with filming. I've been slowly going through my footage, but I haven't got right to where I've finished filming yesterday, almost, but not quite. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a new video or not. Probably. Oh god, I just struggle to freaking get there to freaking finish stuff off at the moment. It's been a pain in the bum. But anyway, so if this is a new video, it'll be like 134 or something like that. And welcome to Outlaw Outlaw Kustoms again. So the plan is today is I want to sand these front fenders back a little bit. Well, sand the areas that need a little smear, just to fill up these little last holes and pinholes and whatever. I'll just turn the camera around. To fill up like stuff like this, you know, a pinhole, a little pinhole there, you know, a couple little marks, whatever. Just there's some minor marks there that possibly might come out with sanding, but I'll just scrape a little in there. A little bit of an infection there. I might actually just hammer and, whoa, don't fall off there. Hold on. Right, sorry about that. I fucking went to touch it and it just about fell off. In here there's a little imperfection. I'm actually going to hold a dolly in behind here and just hammer this a little bit more. There's a wee high spot in there. It's just annoying me a little bit. I'm just going to do it gently, see if I can knock that down a little bit, just so it's not quite so noticeable. If you get the right angle, can't really see. Oh, I can see it, but I'm not sure if it's coming out in the camera. It's just, if it's like, comes down in, there's just a little wee hump in it. So I need to just hammer that. I really noticed it the other day. After I primed it, when it was wet, I could see it. It's just in here. So I just want to just gently hammer that down if I can, and hopefully pick it out with, you know, the next lot of stuff. So yeah, there's a few little marks like that, and I think there's a little bit in here too, which is a wee bit like that, where it's sort of been beaten. There's a bit of a mark there still. So you'll get some. We'll just lightly wet these. Wet sand, or just lightly sand these, not wet sand them. Scrape a little bit of putty in some of these frickin' holes, and then once that's gone off, I'll probably scrape some into the other marks I've marked out in the body, and then I'll start back on those rear fenders and these, and then I'll come back to these once this has had enough time to dry. So yeah, I'm going to be here all day because Mrs. has pinched our car because the old man's got the Mondeo putting a rack in it, steering rack in it. Hopefully, what's tonight? Today's Friday, isn't it? Jesus, is it? Far out. So yeah, I'll shoot around there tonight and give him a hand or later on today, or this afternoon type thing, after tea, or dinner, whatever you want to call it, supper. Your evening meal, you know, 5, 6 o'clock. I'll go around and give him a hand, see how he's getting on there. And then you're back here in the morning. I'm freaking sure it's Friday today. God, I've just about lost. You lose freaking days doing this. You know, working half Saturdays and Sundays and whatever. Yeah, and then I'll be back here. Yeah, probably tomorrow morning if it's his Saturday. God, I need to check. Hold on. Yes, it is Friday. God, freaking heck. So yeah, I'll go help Dad. Later on tonight, I might do a little bit of filming. See how he's got on there with that, putting that rack, steering rack, and that Mondeo. It's a pig of a thing because it's sandwiched between the floor and the subframe and that thing. Hopefully that solves the problem, and then we can get it through a safety check. And obviously we're going to have to flush the pump and the reservoir and all that sort of stuff because it's what happens is there's two little, I think they're like a ball valve type system or something like that, from what I understand from reading, in the rack that controls obviously the oil flow to push the rack one way or the other with the power assist. And those balls start disintegrating, and then it sticks. The rack sticks, so you got to turn, and it sort of like tries to lock, and then it lets go. So it's like you get this real notch just when you first pull it. If you're in a it's not so bad. It's not so bad at speed if you're constantly moving, but it's when you go to first turn, like if you pull up to a corner and then you go to turn. You know what I mean? And it goes and then pulls around. It hasn't been quite so bad lately, but it still plays up. And so yeah, you've either got to strip the rack down and rebuild it, or for the sake of, I think it was $170 for a second-hand rack with out of a car that's had lower mileage, and hopefully it hasn't got the same problem. But like I think it's like the higher mileage cars, like that's done 320 or 30,000 Ks now, which is a couple of 100,000 miles. Yeah, it's starting to get this issue, and I think they all get it. So yeah, we're going to change the rack and then obviously flush the system out with some fresh fluid, and then obviously top it up and whatever. And yeah, while we're there, I think we might check the level on the trans fluid too, because I think that might be a little low, because sometimes when you change gear, it's like, like it takes a bit to drop into gear. So hopefully it's just low fluid, because you can't, fucking all these stupid modern vehicles, there's no fucking dipstick in the trans, which is I think it's the stupidest fucking idea ever. The old trans, with like, even up into the 90s, I suppose mid-90s is when they started fucking doing those sealed transes, and it's just a prick of an idea. Now if you pull the stick out and you think, oh, it's a little low, obviously when you got it running and in park, pull the stick out, it's a bit low. Now you put another frickin' half a litre of trans fluid on or whatever, especially if it's a vehicle that's done a few miles. At least then you can actually see what the fluid's like too, You can go, oh, fuck, that looks shit. Maybe I should change it and put a filter in it. And then you can see if there's something going wrong. But these fucking modern ones, oh, you got to take it and get it serviced. Well, there's $1,000 fucking later. It's probably not, but you know what I mean. Because you have specialised frickin' tools to do it. They fucking bastards make the shit awkward, but... So, yeah. So I might have to check the trans fluid on that thing. And just maybe possibly look at either going to get a fresh dose of fluid or topping it up. Which I think it's just, every now and again when you stop and then you go to take, or go to, chops down gear and then you go to take off, it's like, it feels like it's pumping that fluid up too, I think. And because we had that box in and out a couple of times, there's a possibility that it could be a little low. So yeah, it's either that or there might be a mount going or something like that. It's got that feel. So hopefully we'll figure that out too while we're there, if Dad hasn't figured it out already. I haven't talked to him since we dropped it off yesterday morning, so because I've been so busy doing this shit, and we're trying to get it sorted before Christmas, if you know what I mean. So we got because the diesel's so much cheaper to run, just for long trips, just for straight out fuel costs. If you want to do a few miles in it, it does 1,000 Ks plus on a tank, 12, like on a real good clean hot run, it'll do 1,200 kilometres on a tank, which is a long way. Whereas, and the fuel's only like $1.70 something a litre, whereas that Mitsubishi, might do 700 or 800 on a good day, but the fuel's also $2.50 or something a litre. You still got the diesel Ks on top of it, but the initial cost when you're driving is not so hard on the wallet, if you know what I mean. If you want to go away and do a trip somewhere, that we might get to do maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday over the next, when everybody's sort of houses, even have a home and a holiday, I'd like to go do at least a day trip somewhere, or weekend trip somewhere if I can afford to, go out and do something. But yeah, most of the time I'm still going to be here working, because I can have money. Alright, yeah, I'll get on with this stuff. Stop waffling, son, stop waffling. Right, interesting. So I just, probably you'll find in the last video I was moaning about that frickin' sandpaper I bought. And now I know why the owner of this vehicle struggled to get that sticky back paper down here. I just rang one of the guys off that I sent the missus into to get a few bits and pieces off one day. And I rang them and just asked if they had the sticky back paper for the Durablocks and stuff like that. And they said nobody down here uses it. They all use the hook and loop. So now I know why it's a struggle to get down here. Because the hook and loop's okay, but when you go into this real super flat level stuff, you know, like when you're trying to replicate factory orange peel and all that sort of stuff, you know, which a lot of just the panel shops are doing, they're probably not too panicked about the hook and loop, but it's not as flat. The paper doesn't sit as flat on the block. You know, you get that little, and I'm talking microscopic. I'm getting picky here, but you know, it doesn't sit that dead flat like the block is. You know, you've always got that little bit of up and down because you've got the pad of the, you know, you've got the fluffy bit of the hook and loop, you know, between the two surfaces, and it's not always a dead flat surface. So yeah, when you're trying to do these super flat paint jobs, the sticky back is better because you always end up with a dead flat surface, and I can't use the hook and loop on the acrylic blocks because it won't work. So that's why I struggled to get it, and we had to go online to get it. So I might ring these guys back and just see whether they do another brand in the sticky back. Yeah, this is a bit of a pain because I don't want this stuff. It's shit. Well, it's not shit. It's like compared to 3M. It's shit. It's a pain in the ass. It's like, you know, I don't want to be changing a piece of paper every frickin' panel and a half, you know, because it's losing its grit and it's blocking up, and then you can't get it to clear, and you know, whereas I used that that half sheet on that orange block, I can, you know, still got it on there, like it's fine. You know, I could sand another frickin' around the car once, another time, you know, it would still be okay. Like that shit there, you know, knock that on the leg and it comes clean, you know. Whereas that other shit doesn't, and it's got no, like that's still quite gritty, you know. I could put a nice sharp piece on there, but that'll sand around the car again. No worries at all, you know, till it either rips or falls off. That's why I like the sticky back, because then it doesn't rip. But I don't know, it's just that other stuff. It's just terrible. You're forever changing it. You know, like some of these little pieces that I put on these blocks, you know, I've sanded like 2 or 3 minutes around an edge of something, trying to get it to really clean up. And the paper falls up full of crap. Then you can't get it out, and you know, you're changing it frickin' 10 minutes later. It's a pain in the fucking ass. So yeah, anyway, I'll find what I want eventually and find a supplier for it. Like, that's just the guy I was talking to. He said I probably can get it in, and I said, well, yeah. I said, I know the product number on the back of that sticky back stuff is 316U, and the 3, and that's a generic thing through all the different variations of, like, that's the grit. That must be the grit type, you know what I mean? What's it say on the back of this other stuff? Yes, there. So I got a piece of that other stuff here somewhere. It's the loose piece. Yeah, so the paper on here, I'll turn the camera. So this here is the 216U, which is obviously not, it's the yellow stuff, but this is great too, you know, like if you're just using just the blocks like that one, or even that long block that clips in, you get this sort of paper, you know, you'll use it all day, and it won't it doesn't fill up and all that sort of shit, you know. But the 316U is obviously it's the grit thing, and it's red, but it's, I don't know if it's all sticky back. I think you can still get that in hook and loop as well, but it's the type of grit and the whatever. But yeah, that's the type I want, but I want the, 70mm wide and 25mm long rolls. So I've got plenty of paper here, and I said to him, well, I'll get 2 rolls of each, for the different grits that I use before I go to wet and dry, Whereas then doesn't matter, you can go to sheet paper or whatever, just on a small block. When you get into wet and dry, you can go back to a small block or whatever, when you're doing that final wet out, then you are doing it by hand. But, for all those Dura blocks and the acrylic blocks, down to 400, so you can get it dead flat, and then you go back to wet sanding, well then you can go back to a small hand block, because it's slipping over top and it's just taking that final little layer off. So yeah. But yeah, that's what you need to look for. So it's the sheet paper is, yes, 216, the yellow stuff, or the 316U, which is the other grade, I guess they call it. So yeah, grades of paper, the series. So yeah, that's what Arco's using. It's fucking just absolutely awesome. Like he said, you can put a piece on your block and use the fucking thing all day, and you might change it once, not freaking every 10 minutes trying to blow it out and clear it out, and then it loses all its sharpness. I don't know, 3M have fucking got it down, I tell you that, for their paper. And this stuff is just, it loses its bite, like here, right at the end there, like this, where it probably hasn't run over too much. It's quite rough, but in the centre here, it's lost all its grip, lost all its sharpness. And like that probably only been used a few minutes too, It's annoying when you want a product to work. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that stuff. Especially like if you're going to be doing lots of things, otherwise you're just going to burn through it. If it costs twice as much, but lasts, 5 or 6 times as long, you're saving yourself money, Anyway, I'll stop whinging. Righty, so I've tried to fill all the other little spots that I could find, plus extras when I was looking. Like there's bound to be more, but we're getting really low, apart from the few little marks in there, but hopefully that'll be all blocked off. Got all that stuff done. Did a little bit around the other side too. I just keep hunting for stuff, try to get little marks as I was finding them. A couple of little pieces up in here. Scrape some little bits on the doors. I want to mix up a bit more and put across these these here, that one there especially, and that one, because you can see where I've rubbed the block over, and you can see where it's low and high, and all their stock probably needs a full skim, just some glazing putty across those bottom pieces. I haven't sanded down in there yet, but I think I've got most things at this point. Fixed the low spot that was there. There was a couple of little low spots in here, and just a couple of little scrape marks, and I filled these little imperfections here. Try to get a bit more on the top of that door where I made this door, and that just wasn't terribly flat and straight. Now we'll knock it off and probably put another wee skim through there at some point. And I probably need to do these other ones too, but these ones aren't quite so bad. But as we build the primer up and whatever, and I'll catch a few little marks and whatever. When we get another, we're going to blow another 4 or 5 coats on this yet. Probably the back of the body, I might just give another couple. Just give another couple and then see where it's at, sort of type thing. Because it's a shitload of product on there now. And hopefully we'll just pull the back part of this body up. We'll probably blow, the 4 or 5 just into the wheel arch and sort of start it there, and then I'll just blow a couple around, and try and blend this back piece out, because this has had shitloads on it now. And it's pretty reasonable. I think another couple of coats we should be able to see if there's any other problems. you know, and we can dial. Well, I'm going to have another real good look before I do blow anything on there, but I think I've got everything now. There might be a couple of little minor marks down the bottom that I've still got to catch and sand off, but I think I got most of them. You know, a bit like the fenders, you know, I think I've got, you know, it's probably 98%, you know, like it was sort of like this was, you know, I'm sort of 97, 98% there. You know, it's these final little marks, and then we'll block it out, you know, and black paint and whatever, and wet sand them, but yeah. I think the body's, you know, the rest of the body's probably sort of 90% there, if you know what I mean. I reckon the back part's probably sort of 98, 97%, and this is probably 90% the way there. You know, another you know, 4 or 5 coats on a block back, and it'll be that last level, you know, and the last percent or two will come with that last prime and that final wet sand block out before we paint. So yeah, we'll do those last couple of coats, you know, with 600 and wet and dry, and then obviously blow it down, wipe it down, whatever, and clean the frickin' all this mess up and paint the body and the hood sides and the bonnet, and then, you know, and then we'll paint the rest black, you know, and start assembling the main body, and then obviously we'll just slowly start putting the other stuff in. I probably won't put the front fenders and everything on until we've addressed that thing and checked it all over and make sure it's right. I want to pull the head off. It's flat head, so you just want to pull the head off, make sure the balls and everything are all still good and clean and all that sort of stuff. Double check all that shit, make sure there's no rings stuck or anything stupid. It turns over, but make sure there's nothing stuck in the pistons or that sort of stuff. You know, put it back together, give it a clean up, you know, another coat of paint, and bung it all, and then start going through the transmission and all that sort of stuff, you know. Got to go through the clutch and shit yet and all that sort of stuff. So, alrighty, yep. So this is the 320 of that stuff. Oh, frickin' I wish I didn't open the roll now. But anyway, so this is one of the acrylic blocks. I'll put this on here to sand this 320, and this is it. That's me blowing it off after I've blown it off, trying to get the crap out of it. Unfortunately, when I stuck it on the first time, it didn't stick on straight, and I went to heat it up, and it's made it a little bit ripply. But it won't fucking clear, you know. 10 minutes of sanding, block sanding this back with 320, trying to get this smoothed out. You know, and I'm probably going to switch to 400. I got a little bit to do. I got a bit more sand to do through here, but the rest of it's pretty good. You know, I've got a little bit more to go, but it just won't fucking stay clean. You know, in 10 minutes. I guarantee I'm going to put a piece of the, and that's the biggest problem. I don't want to use that short block. I want to use these nice big flat blocks so I can get this shit like glass. I probably will with that because this has already been over it with the heavier grit, so it's fairly flat anyway. But you know, when you want to use a certain block with a certain type of product on it, you know, you shouldn't have to frickin' throw that piece of paper away in 10 minutes. It's just ridiculous. So, unfortunately, sorry guys at the panel store in New Zealand, whatever your brand of paper is, wherever you're getting it from, it's I'm sorry guys, it's crap. It really is, and it pisses me off because I've got 2 rolls of each of it, and yeah, now it looks like a lot of the guys who use that purple 3M hook and loop on their Dura blocks and their long blocks over here. I don't know why, they just do. And I want the sticky back so I can use those freaking acrylic blocks. You know, I don't want to have hook and loop and sticky back, you know, and I want good sticky back. You know, I don't want to be changing the paper every freaking 10 or 15, 20 minutes, you know, of just sanding one fucking panel, you know, and I'm not even finished yet, and it's pissing me off. You know, I've still got a few marks to you know, just in the primer just to knock back out. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be like that, and not being able to clear, because you know I'd sanded that and I you can, I don't know if you can, I hope this shows up in the phone, on the camera. You can see the shiny marks where that paper has been, where it's filled up with paint, and you can see it like it puts shiny marks in the, like shiny lines in the paint, in the primer, where it's been sanding. It fucking annoys me. Like, you don't want that, because when you come through to that last sand back before high build, or before your colour, you know, and then obviously we clear on top of that if you're doing base coat, clear coat. You don't want that, because you know that may show. And it's just fucking annoying. Stuff is just, it's unfortunately it's junk. Like, it's not good for fuck all. You know, it's a bit like using freaking, need I say it, Norton. You know, it's fucking no better than that. It's probably worse. Which is just a pain in the fucking ass, you know. But anyway, because I couldn't get the 3M sticky back when I was hunting around for it, and they said they had that. And I was like, is it any good? Oh yeah, that's alright. Oh, alright, send us a freaking couple of rolls each. I'll fucking soon tell you if it's not. And it's not. It's just shit. Like, the 80 grit's not quite so bad because it's not as fine a grit, but it still fills up. You know, it's bad with the, you know, with that first layer of like body filler or whatever. It doesn't seem to clear itself. It's not so bad once you actually get, you know, when you're doing a bit of body filler work, you know, at 80 grit, you know, and then you want to maybe chop back to 220. It's not too bad with the 80 grit because it's coarse, but when you get to this fine grade stuff, it just falls. It's just shit. It's freaking annoying. Anyway, I'll carry on. Righty, so I've just started blocking out the second one. This stuff looks great. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, I've actually just got a rattle can of black paint sitting in the sun, getting some heat in it. Well, I've only just set it out there. I'm going to only sit in there for a few minutes, and then I'm going to do a light mist coat for a guide coat on that bonnet or hood top, whatever you want to call it, the half. And then I'm going to let that sit for a while, let that stuff go off. I'd love to use just proper guide coat, but just a rattle can of black, as long as it's fast dry. You don't want anything that's going to be sticky for frickin' ages. You want something that you can just spray on there and 10 or 15 minutes later it's dead dry and you can sand it without film paper. Because what I'll do is I'll go to 400 on that, or 420 or whatever it is. So I'm just going to block this one back on the 320, and then I'll guide coat that in a minute. I'll just let that can warm up so it gets nice and runny and it'll spray really nicely. So I'm just going to mist it from a distance. Yeah, and then I'll do the same with this, and then I'll switch back. You know, once I finish blocking this, I'll switch back to that one, because that should be, you know, just to give that mist enough time to make sure it's not going to fill the paper or anything stupid. And then once I block these out, I'll sand this other stuff. Well, it probably is ready because it's like 11 o'clock or whatever it is. And yeah, it's not too bad. Actually, I might sit these in the sun. Just poke them over in the sun and let them get a bit of heat and that stuff. It's funny. It's weird, isn't it? It's body filler and glazing putty. It's funny stuff. You either get just a little bit light with the mix, or you get it to the point where you just finished scraping on and it's starting to go off, or you'll get it all on and it hasn't quite gone off yet, and they're like 10 or 15 minutes later, you can still feel it just sticky on to the top, and it stays like that. It's weird. Unless you got heaps of heat, because I put that on when it was cooler. It might have been 12 degrees or something C. But when it gets to 20, you're chasing it the other way. Then you're trying to take hardener out of it so it doesn't go off so quick. It's a pain in the ass stuff. It's really hard. I think if you're doing a lot of body work and stuff like this all the time, I think you'd almost, and I bet you some of those big shops in the States and stuff, likes of King Diggett and all those guys, I bet you their temperature in their shops are the same all the time. I bet you it is. They'll be air conditioned and they'll be set at like that 22 degrees C, or I'd imagine, whatever it is, that mid 70s Fahrenheit or whatever it is, where it's still a comfortable temperature to work in, but your products work really well. But anyway, I'll get that misted. I'll move those out into the sun for a bit, just let them sit over in the sun in the doorway, and I'll keep blocking this. So just in case you're not sure what I mean by guide coating, just misting it, basically like that, so it's got enough black on there without being obviously heavy to see when you're blocking off whether you've got any imperfections left. So I'm going to do that on the 400, and then it'll get another. No, these are basically ready to go. We'll get two more primes, and when we block it back for painting, I'll wet sand it. Alrighty, hopefully you can see me there alright, or kinda. You can see the panel anyway. So I misted this before, I set it out in the doorway in the sun, and I moved it here, let it cool down for a few minutes while I had something to eat. I'm here all day. Not allowed to go home. Nah, Mrs. got the other car because the other one's got the steering rack put on it. So yeah, I've set that other one over there and misted it too. So I'm going to block this back and just see how we come up. Well, hopefully you can see this, but so this is why you do the black guide coat, because you can still see the scratches in there, kind of. Focus on that or not? Yeah, you can still see the scratches from obviously probably maybe even 240 or the 320. Now I'm at 400, but that's cleaned up pretty good. Like I've still got a little bit to take off, but that spot is almost done, So I know that piece is well. Focus, phone, focus. That doesn't want the grey. I know that piece is flat, so we'll get around here and get all this knocked off, and that's done, ready for the last two coats. And we'll wet sand it with 600, and I think that'll be good enough. I don't think there'll be any other issues. I'm pretty sure if I find any little bits that annoy me, it's not going to be hard to fix at this point. Another couple of light coats over top, wet sand it with 600, and smash some colour on the bitch. Alrighty. Right, that is fully blocked out with 400. So that's cool, that's awesome. I just had a real quick look. There's a couple. I don't even know if you can see that. There's that's very, very small, fine. So hopefully, when we do the next prime, there's a couple, and they're really low, but there's not much in them. I could probably sand them out, but I don't want to dig too much, if you know what I mean. Upset, we'll see. I'll leave them until we prime, and then see if they're there next time, if you know what I mean. But I think everything else is gone. There might be, if there's anything. Oh, there's another, just a tiny little speck right at the end of my finger. Like, it's so small you just about can't see it because of my finger. But yeah, that one's done. Pretty sure that one's done. I'll give it another before I probably paint, you know, we'll give it another 3 or 4 coats on the inside and just block it out a little bit better on the inside as well. I haven't paid quite as much attention to the inside as we have on the outside, but if I give it another 3 or 4 coats on there and then give it a nice block out, I've just blocked it out so like at least we can get some decent more product in there. Obviously give it a clean down and whatever, but yeah, we'll give that a 3 or 4 coats and give that a nice rub out, and it'll be ready for paint too. But that's the top side that, you know, that you're going to see all the time. You know, that's absolutely freaking beautiful now. First panel finished. you know, like you could paint that. Apart from obviously with the bare metal is, you know, a light prime, and wet sand and paint it, and it's done. You know. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely sexy. Hopefully the rest of it fucking comes up just as nice. Alrighty guys, so this is the second one. I just finished blocking it back after I guide coated it. This for the 400. I've got one wee spot here which I can probably sand out. It's not quite as bad as I thought it is. I might get it with, you know, the wee bit more blocking. Try and get rid of that. That's about the only spot. There's a couple of little minor ones which I might get with blocking. Or they'll come with the last 2 coats of prime, if you know what I mean. It's almost, yeah, it's like, you know, I could probably block that off. Just biggest problem is you got to be careful you're not creating a funny mark when you're trying to sand off in a little spot like that, if you know what I mean. You're better off just to see if it'll come with the next one, or if I have to, maybe a wee scraper, because I can feel that with my finger. But it's not as though it's just a you know, like just focus on there. Have you got focus on there or not? Probably not. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically all done, ready to go. You know, hopefully that'll come up with another couple of coats. Or I might, if I'm doing a little bit more glazing, I might just scrape just a little piece across there, and then give it another wee block with the 400 before we the last 2 coats and wet sand and paint. So they're both basically done, which is absolutely awesome. I knew these were going to come up really nice. You know, it's just a couple of little minor, you know, just little touches that I think they should come with coats. But anyway, we'll carry on. It looks like Arco wants to talk to me. My phone's sending me messages. So yeah, we'll catch you later on. Righty guys, so I'll block this one out. I've got a few little pieces to fix up. I've got a little bit here. I want to put a little bit more putty in here from where I ground it, and I've actually run around there with a flappy wheel like rotary thing on the die grinder. Take a few marks out of the steel, and I took a, you know, I actually filed a little bit of metal off the front here, and I panel beaded in here a little bit because it was freaking had this stupid lump in here. So I put a bit of glazing paint in there. I'm going to knock that off shortly once it's finished hardening up and it's not far away. And when I did that, I'd spread some glazing putty in there, try to get as much in there as I could. I haven't seen any more off that, so I'm just knocking this one back to getting this one right, starting on here and obviously moving around to wherever. So that's what I'm beginning to doing at the moment. Morning guys. So Saturday morning, I'm going to be here most of the day, just because I need to catch up on some errors from a couple of disruptions during the week. So I'm going to get sanding on some of the stuff, and then debating whether to just spot prime some of these front fenders before I apply some black on them, because I've attacked a few pieces a little bit more than I thought I might have. Just with fixing a couple of spots, that, mainly in those dimples in the on the inside of those fenders where that dimple is. I've sort of attacked both of them at the bottom a little bit. Actually hammered dollied them a little bit, and then put a little bit more glazing putty in the bottom. yesterday, I'm not sure if I've showed that in the footage or not, I can't remember, I haven't been through that. And I've got the last video reading, it should be finished now anyway, at home. I went through it a couple of times and cut it down because I cut it down, it was about an hour and 15 minutes, and I think I cut it back down again to about 55 minutes or something like that. Chopped about 20 minutes out of it. It was too long. I like to try and keep them under an hour if I can. But sometimes it's hard when you've got 3 hours of footage and you're trying to condense it down and chop the bits out that you feel like you've repeated yourself a few many times, which is easy to do when you're doing this stuff, when you're just talking about what you're doing at the time. But yeah, I'll get this stuff knocked back, and then yeah, I'll decide whether I'm going to spot prime some of this stuff or not. I might have to have a look, just figure out what I'm going to do, because I need to put a little bit of days in putting these rear fenders and just areas. They're not too bad, so I could possibly prime them too while I'm at it. I've actually got some visitors, I think, coming about 11 o'clock this morning, so in about 2 hours time should be a whole heap of, I'm not sure how many vehicles, but it could be 10 or 12, probably a mix of just hot rods and moderns, I guess. They're going to come, they're doing a garage raid tour around, visiting a few garages and shops and whatever. So yeah, I got asked a wee while ago whether I'd be happy to do one, and they messaged me last night and they must be looking for an extra, so I said, yeah, no, come around and have a look, whatever. I'll try and get the place a little straightened up. So yeah, so they're going to come around and have a bit of a nosy, see what I'm doing, I guess, which would be quite cool. Hopefully that just gives me a bit more exposure locally too. If somebody wants something done that doesn't feel confident and has got the skills to do it themselves, might lead on to some more little projects or big projects, I don't know. But so yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I'll get some of the stuff cleaned up and I'll come back to you. Well, I need to read my messages better. They're coming here to have a look through here tomorrow. So I actually might try and do I'm just trying to work out what the deal is and where they're going to go first. Because they're going to come here about 11 o'clock in the morning or thereabouts. So I'm going to try and see if where they're going to go first. If they're going to come here first, well, I might tag along and do a video on some of these garage raids, whatever they want to call them. I haven't done one of those for, I don't know, again, probably 12, 13, 14 years. So yeah, that might be something to look forward to tomorrow. So yeah, we'll be here and then some other places, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep you informed on that one. But at the moment, I've re-spotted, just a few marks, bits and pieces that I'm not happy with. I've just started sanding some of them off. Sand a little bit off there, a little off there. I'm actually going to try and, I might re-prime some of these pieces this afternoon because I'm going to be here all day. I'll probably just spot prime the front fenders, just where I've done these other little bits and pieces, just to clean them up before I do put the black on, or fully prime the rear fenders, I think. I need to double check everything, and I don't know if I prime the body or not. I might not. I just see how I go for time. But you probably can. I could probably put a couple of coats around this too once I knock all that sort of stuff off. And that'll give me a good idea where I'm at now, because I've got everything pretty much sanded back. I've just got these few bits and pieces to knock back. I've had a bit of a clean up this morning as I've been sort of doing things. I started attacking this again to try and get this back disordered. I'm not sure if I showed you the other day, or this is advice I've had for ages. I want to put it on this bench here somewhere, but this freaking wood's so rotten. I've just brought it down here because it was at home sitting there doing nothing. So yeah, I might attach it to this bench at some point, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week or whatever, I don't know, but maybe just down here somewhere. So I've got another decent sized vise. That one's okay, but it's a bit small. God, sorry, light. Got all the freaking doors open because I was having a clean up and a blowout in here earlier on, thinking that these guys come this morning. So yeah, that one's quite a small vise. So that's quite a decent sized one. It wasn't terribly expensive. I bought it, I don't know, close to 20 years ago, I suppose. But yeah, it's done me alright. It was sitting around at Dad's for ages, freaking just in storage. So yeah, I had a bit of a shuffle up and clean up, whatever, picked up some tools, which gave me a good opportunity to actually have a clean up. So yeah, once I knock all this stuff back, I might re-prime everything, maybe. See how I go. Just spot prime the front guards, prime the rear fenders. I might even freaking, if I can get myself sorted out, I might even prime the hood tops as well, because they're all pretty much ready to go as well. If I can get myself sorted out here. Worst thing is these things are such a bitch of thing to prime. You know, I almost need to hang the bastard somehow. But yeah, I don't know, put a freaking fencing wire up here and freaking hang them on hooks or something. Maybe, because it's such a bitch of a thing to, because when they're sitting in the panel stands, you can't get in underneath the lips and stuff. You've got to turn them over, which is a bit of a hassle. But yeah, because I can prime them sort of like this, but it's just not ideal. That's why I sort of had them sitting around funny on those stands the other day, like on there, and then actually hanging over them. But you could have them closed right up just about. But anyway, I'll carry on. Sorry about the light. I'll get this stuff scuffed back, and I'll try and see if I can get all this all primed today. Have another hit at it anyway. Righty, so that's that done. So I flicked a bit on the insides of the door panels. Actually didn't realise there's so much shit stuck to this one, but it doesn't matter, you can't see it. I just put a bit in there to seal it up. I I've primed the back of that just to give it something, you know, when they probably stick upholstery to it, we sort of, instead of just etch on there, give it a couple of rough coats of high build, basically 2 coats and everywhere else, and I blew in sort of around the jams as you would have seen. 2 coats on these. I'm going to have to get used to that gun now that I've opened it up. I've got a couple of runs. Doesn't matter, they'll block out. 2 coats on these. One in a little bit, you know, the patches, because I did the bit of body work here, and the same on the other one, and a couple of little spots. So I just spotted them and then went over them, over the whole things again. And then you see me, there's a little bit left in the gun at one point, and I just puffed it back over those other funny spots. Right. So hopefully, yeah, I'll maybe Monday or something like that, because what I'll do now, I think, is I'll attack them Monday and do a bit more on that other back piece Monday, and start, obviously let these cure for a couple of days more, and I might start on that stuff. We'll start on that front valance, clean that up, and the side valances, and clean them up, and then, yeah, and then we'll get these black. They should be ready for paint. I need to get some wet and dry 600. I might get some 600, a few sheets of 600, a few sheets of 800. I could go buy a whole ream, or whatever you want to call it, of paper, but I won't panic. I'll just go grab 3 or 4 sheets of each, just stick them over there in the meantime. That's all I'll need for this. Probably more than what I need, but yeah, I'll just wet sand them, I don't know, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and yeah, and then obviously dry sand the body with probably 320 and 400 and see what that comes up like, and obviously fix any other little marks, which will probably be those bottom pieces, and the same with those. I'll wet them, sand them back with 400 and or whatever, or see how they go. Yeah, I might spray them black too in amongst this stuff, you know. See, I'll wet sand them back with 300 anyway, see where they're at. Yeah, and we might spray them with the black, give them a couple of light coats, and then you wet sand them out, and then see if they're ready for the proper black. So yeah, that's all right. I'll leave it here for the day, I think. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure I've got enough for another video, possibly. I'm going to try and edit them down a little bit, so they're not quite so long. But yeah, so if this is the end of this video, please like, share and subscribe and all those things. Hit that bell thingy so when I put up another video, you know it's there if you're keen to watch this progress. So yeah, like I would hope by maybe next weekend, possibly, or sometime in the next week or 2, we should be smashing colour on this thing for sure. It'll just depend, you know, like I might get this ready to put colour on it, get them ready to put colour on, get them to put ready to put colour on, and I might even attack these with, get them to the black, if you know what I mean. So we'll see. We'll see how things come up with these, of what we end up doing first, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so either in the next week or 2, we'll put putting the colour on the body, or something, you know. We'll be definitely putting paint on something. So I'll call it here for the day, I think, and we'll see you Monday. If I do this, I'm not sure what's going on with this garage tour tomorrow, though. I know they're definitely coming here, because it was meant to be today, but I've got my wires crossed for the days, so they're going to come here tomorrow. I'm not sure, 10 or 12 cars with a carload of people in each one, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. That's sort of the numbers I've been told. So maybe 3 or 4 people, 2 or 3 people, basically each car. Could be 10 or 12 cars, maybe a few more. Come through and have a look. And I'm not sure. They may go to some other places and may not. So if they do go to some other places, they were struggling for, like I said, they were struggling to get places to go to. But if they do happen to go anywhere else, well, I might tag along and maybe do a bit of video around some of the other people's sheds and stuff and whatever. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Right, we'll catch you later on.